For more than 4,000 years, these ancient giants have stood silently beneath the Egyptian sun. They've witnessed empires rise and crumble into dust. They've seen floods of the Nile, wars, and the birth of new civilizations. And yet, they remain untouched, their sharp edges still cutting through time itself, their stones whispering stories that no one can fully understand. Perfectly shaped, impossibly aligned, built with a precision that even modern engineers struggle to explain. They are the Great Pyramids of Giza, the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, and perhaps its greatest mystery. How did a people, more than 4 millennia ago, move millions of stones heavier than trucks? How did they lift them with such accuracy, without cranes, without steel, without machines? Some say the pyramids were tombs, final resting places for divine kings. But others believe they were something much greater, something that transcended death itself, a message carved into the earth, a monument meant to outlive humanity. This is not just a story of architecture. It's a story of obsession, power, and the eternal human desire to touch the heavens. This is the mystery of the pyramids. Imagine Egypt, 4,500 years ago, a kingdom of golden sand and endless sunlight. The Nile flows like a vein of life through the desert, feeding one of the most advanced civilizations the world has ever seen. And at its heart, the pharaoh, a man considered more than human, a living god. When Pharaoh Khufu ordered his Great Pyramid, tens of thousands of laborers, artisans, and engineers gathered near the Nile Valley. Some were slaves, but many were skilled workers, paid, trained, and proud. For them, this wasn't just construction. It was sacred duty. They believed they were building a bridge between the earth and the afterlife. Each limestone block weighed between 2 and 15 tons, pulled by ropes, dragged over sand, lifted by ramps that may have stretched for miles. There were no machines, no iron tools, and yet they placed over 2 million blocks with millimetric precision. The Great Pyramid once stood 146 meters tall. Its sides stretched longer than 2 football fields, and every angle pointed exactly toward the cardinal directions. Even now, if you circle it with satellites, its orientation to true north is astonishing, off by less than 1/15 of a single degree. Somehow, without modern technology, without compasses or lasers, they achieved what we still struggle to replicate. How? Was it sheer manpower, a genius lost to time, or something we can't yet explain? One theory says massive ramps were built in spirals, others that pulleys and levers were used on multiple sides. But every theory leaves holes, and none can fully explain the scale, speed, and accuracy of the work. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. The builders of these monuments weren't just constructing tombs. They were building a message, in stone, a message meant to last forever. And maybe that message wasn't for the gods. Maybe it was for us. When viewed from above, the pyramids form a perfect pattern. 3 great monuments rising from the sand, their bases aligned with mathematical precision. But here's what makes it extraordinary. Each side of the Great Pyramid aligns almost perfectly to true north. Not magnetic north, true north. Something even our modern compasses drift from. The margin of error, less than 1/15 of a degree. That's the precision of a laser, achieved by people who lived thousands of years before telescopes or electricity. And when you connect the 3 main pyramids, they mirror the stars of Orion's belt. 3 points of light in the night sky. reflected perfectly on the sands of Giza. Coincidence? Maybe. But here's where it gets stranger. Across the world, from Mexico to China, civilizations separated by oceans built pyramids with astonishingly similar designs. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Chinese, even ancient builders in Sudan and Cambodia, all chose the same triangular form, the same upward-pointing geometry. Different languages, different cultures, different gods, but the same dream: to reach for the sky. It's as if humanity itself was following a shared memory, something buried deep within our collective mind. Were they inspired by the stars, by divine instruction, or by something else entirely? Something lost in time? Maybe. The pyramids are more than tombs. Maybe they're a code, a blueprint linking Earth to the cosmos. And if that's true, then the mystery of the pyramids is not just a story about the past. It's a message for the future. When scientists began to measure the Great Pyramid in detail, they were not prepared for what they found. Its base stretches more than 230 meters on each side, yet the difference between them is less than 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters across a structure made of over 2 million stones. Even today, with lasers and drones, that level of precision is almost unimaginable. The pyramid summit, once capped with gleaming white limestone, would have reflected sunlight for miles, a beacon visible from the horizon of the ancient world. Some say it was designed not just to shine, but to communicate, because when you plot its geometry, the numbers tell a story. The pyramid's height compared to its base creates the same ratio as the circumference of the Earth, divided by its diameter, the number we call pi. Coincidence? Or knowledge far beyond what history tells us? Even more astonishing, if you multiply the pyramid's height by 1,000,000, you get nearly the exact distance from the Earth to the Sun. How could ancient Egyptians have known that? How could they have encoded such astronomical precision? Without telescopes, without advanced mathematics, without even knowing the shape of the planet itself? Some researchers believe the answer lies in the stars. The pyramids, they say, were built as mirrors of the heavens, a cosmic map carved into stone. When night falls over Giza, the 3 great pyramids align perfectly with Orion's belt. Not roughly, not symbolically, but almost mathematically exact. That alignment isn't random. For the Egyptians, Orion represented Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife. To them, the sky wasn't just a backdrop, it was the destination of the soul. But others see something more mechanical. They argue that the pyramids were never tombs at all, but gigantic machines. Machines designed to channel the energy of the Earth. According to these fringe theories, the chambers and shafts inside the Great Pyramid aren't random passageways. They form a resonant system, like the inside of a musical instrument. When sound or vibration passes through, the pyramid amplifies it, creating a frequency powerful enough to move stone or transmit energy. Mainstream archaeology dismisses this idea, but even skeptics admit something unusual. The layout of the pyramid's interior has acoustic properties unlike any other structure on Earth. When researchers played low-frequency sounds inside the king's chamber, the granite walls began to vibrate, as if responding to the tone itself. Could it be that the pyramid's builders understood resonance? Could they have used sound, not brute strength, to lift and move their massive stones? We don't know. And maybe that's what makes this mystery endure. Because every time we think we've solved it, another question appears. If these monuments were just tombs, why go to such extremes of perfection? Why align them with stars, encode mathematical constants, and build with precision that still challenges us today? Perhaps they weren't just honoring the dead. Perhaps they were trying to speak to eternity itself. And so, for every answer we find in Giza, 1,000 new mysteries rise from the sand. For centuries, the Great Pyramids have stood in silence. But in that silence, human imagination has filled the gaps left by history. And the theories, the theories, are as vast as the desert itself. Some believe the pyramids were not tombs at all, but giant power plants, that their chambers, built from conductive granite and limestone, were designed to generate and channel electromagnetic energy. They point to the shafts leading upward, the precision of the internal structure, and the strange magnetic readings recorded inside. Could it be that the ancients had found a way to harness the Earth's natural forces, to create energy, not from machines, but from harmony with the planet itself? It sounds impossible. Yet so did flight, electricity, and landing on the moon. Others look to the sky for answers. They see the pyramids not as energy transmitters, but as beacons, markers placed by an ancient intelligence that once visited our world. The pyramids of Egypt, the temples of the Maya, the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, all share uncanny similarities, separated by oceans, by centuries, by culture and language, and still, they built the same shape. Some call it coincidence, others call it evidence. Could it be that long before our history began, Earth was visited by those who taught humanity to build, to measure the stars, and to dream of immortality? The ancient texts speak of gods descending from the heavens, of beings who brought wisdom, and left behind monuments of impossible design. Were they gods, or something else? We may never know, but the similarities across continents remain undeniable. In South America, the pyramids of Cairo stand older than those of Egypt, built with the same precision. In Cambodia, Angkor Wat follows the same stellar alignment as Giza. And in Mexico, the Pyramid of the Sun shares nearly identical proportions with the Great Pyramid. Different builders, different ages, one geometry. It's as if every culture heard the same whisper, echoing through time. Build upward, reach for the stars, and leave behind proof that you existed. But what if the real mystery is not about who built them, but why? Why dedicate generations of human effort to something so vast, so perfect, so eternal? Some say it was power. The pharaohs wanted to live forever. Their tombs were their stairways to the afterlife. But others believe it was more profound, a way to connect heaven and earth, a symbol of unity between man and the cosmos. Look closely, and you'll see that the pyramid is not just a shape, it's a symbol, a triangle, the meeting point between the physical and the divine. Its base represents the earth, its peak, the heavens, and at the center of that line, humanity stands between both. Perhaps that's what the ancients wanted us to remember, that even in our pursuit of eternity, we are forever bound to the world that created us. Whether they were built by kings, by gods, or by something far beyond our understanding, the pyramids remain a mirror, a reflection of our greatest ambition and our deepest fear. That time will erase us. But as long as the Great Pyramids stand, that fear is just an illusion. For thousands of years, the pyramids have guarded their secrets in silence. No scrolls, no blueprints, no inscriptions explaining how they were made. Just stone. And mystery. But in the last few decades, science has begun to look inside. Not with chisels, but with light. In 2017, a team of international researchers launched a project unlike any before it. Scan pyramids. Their goal was simple, yet audacious. To see inside the Great Pyramid, without touching a single stone. They used cutting-edge technology, cosmic ray muon detection. These are the same particles that constantly pass through our bodies. Harmless but powerful, able to penetrate hundreds of meters of rock. By tracking how these particles moved through the pyramid, scientists could build a 3D map of its interior, a kind of X-ray of one of the oldest structures on Earth. And what they found changed everything. Hidden above the Grand Gallery, they discovered a massive void, a chamber more than 30 meters long, sealed for over 4,000 years, a space so large it could hold an airplane, and yet no one had ever known it existed. No tomb, no markings, no visible entrance, just a black void, buried in silence. To this day, no one knows what lies inside. Some believe it's simply an ancient architectural feature, a weight-relief cavity built to support the structure. Others believe it could hold the lost burial chamber of Pharaoh Khufu himself. And then, there are those who think it was meant for something else entirely, a chamber never meant for humans to enter. New scans have revealed even more tunnels beneath the plateau of Giza. Hidden passages, some collapsing into sand, others perfectly preserved. Robotic probes have ventured through narrow shafts, discovering sealed doors, tiny hieroglyphs, and chambers untouched since the time of the pharaohs. What's most haunting is how deliberate it all seems. Every chamber, every angle, every corridor, designed with a purpose we still don't understand. Some of these shafts point directly to stars. Others, to the horizon where the sun rises on the day of the solstice. It's as if the entire structure is a calendar, a cosmic clock counting the rhythm of eternity. Modern archaeologists have also uncovered ancient tools, copper chisels, and limestone sleds, evidence of human craftsmanship. But even they admit the scale and precision of the work still surpass what seems possible. A single misplaced stone could have collapsed the entire structure. Yet there are none. Not one. Every line, every joint, fits together like gears in a cosmic machine. And the deeper scientists look, the stranger it becomes. Inside the pyramid, the air feels thick, as if charged with static electricity. In 2020, researchers from the University of St. Petersburg discovered that the pyramid's chambers can actually resonate at certain electromagnetic frequencies. They built digital simulations, and the results stunned them. At specific wavelengths, the same frequencies used in modern wireless communication, the pyramid amplified the electromagnetic field. Coincidence? Or ancient knowledge rediscovered by accident? The data was real, but its meaning is still a mystery. Even today, drones and LiDAR scanners continue to uncover new layers beneath the sand. Ancient workers' camps, hidden causeways, lost ships buried near the base of the pyramids. Each discovery brings us closer, and yet somehow deeper into the unknown. Because the more we learn about the pyramids, the less we seem to understand. After 4,000 years, we can finally see inside their walls, but not into their purpose. And maybe that's the greatest mystery of all. For centuries, the mystery of the pyramids was thought to belong only to Egypt, the land of pharaohs, of gods carved in stone. But the deeper we look into our planet's history, the more we realize Egypt was not alone. Across the world, civilizations that never met, that never shared language, trade, or maps, all built the same impossible shape, the pyramid. In the dense jungles of Mexico, the ancient Maya built their own stairways to the heavens. The pyramid of Kukulkan in Chichen Itza was designed with such precision that on the spring equinox, its edges cast a moving shadow, forming the body of a serpent that slithers down the stairs. To the Maya, it was the god returning from the sky. To modern science, it's a marvel of astronomical geometry. How could two cultures, separated by oceans and millennia, share such mastery of the stars? Far to the east, in China, hidden beneath layers of earth and time, stand more than 200 ancient pyramids, some nearly as large as those in Giza. Many remain off-limits to the public, covered in grass, guarded by the government. They stretch across the Shaanxi province like silent mountains. Who built them, and why they align perfectly to celestial patterns, remains a question shrouded in mystery. In the jungles of Cambodia, the Temple of Angkor Wat mirrors the stars of Draco. In Sudan, the Nubian pyramids rise from the desert, like smaller echoes of their Egyptian ancestors. And in South America, the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacán shares almost the exact same base dimensions as the Great Pyramid of Giza. Different builders, different gods, the same vision. When you place all these monuments on a map, a pattern begins to appear. An invisible thread connecting continents. A global symmetry woven through time. Some scientists believe this is coincidence, a natural choice of design for stability and strength. But others argue something deeper, that these monuments were part of a shared legacy, a forgotten knowledge that once spread across the ancient world. Could it be that humanity once spoke the same language, not of words, but of geometry, that long before modern civilization, our ancestors understood the earth, not as a collection of nations, but as one connected whole? Even the mathematics repeat. The angle of the Great Pyramid's slope, 51 degrees, 50 minutes. The same ratio appears in temples in Mexico, and in mounds across China. Were they all guided by the same cosmic blueprint? A universal design, echoing the harmony of the stars? And then there's the energy. Many of these sites, Giza, Teotihuacán, Angkor Wat, lie along what researchers call Earth's energy lines, the same global network used in ancient ley line theory. Coincidence? Or connection? Perhaps the pyramids are not just monuments to kings, but monuments to memory, to something older than history itself. Maybe, thousands of years ago, our ancestors looked to the heavens and saw more than stars. They saw a message, a pattern, a reason to build. And across oceans and time, they answered, each in their own language of stone. If there is a pattern, it doesn't just connect monuments. It connects us. For more than 40 centuries, they have stood in silence. The sands shift, the winds erode, empires rise and fall, but the pyramids remain. They do not speak, and yet they tell a story older than words. A story about us. When we look at them today, we don't just see stone and shadow. We see proof that human ambition has no limit. That long before satellites, computers, or engines, we dreamed of touching eternity. Every block of limestone, every carved chamber, every alignment with the stars, was not built by gods, but by human hands, hands that bled, Hands that worked beneath a burning sun. Hands that, thousands of years later, still reach us across time. They remind us that progress is not measured in machines, but in will, in vision, in the courage to dream something greater than ourselves. Even now, we are still searching for the how, the secret technique, the missing piece of knowledge. But maybe the real question is why? Why do we build? Why do we look at the impossible and decide to make it real? Maybe the answer has nothing to do with pharaohs, or gods, or mathematics. Maybe the answer is much simpler and far more beautiful. We build because we want to be remembered, because deep down we know that time forgets everything unless we give it something to hold on to. The pyramids are not just tombs of kings. They are monuments to memory itself, proof that humanity, despite its fragility, can create something eternal. Today, we build with steel and glass instead of stone. We reach for the stars, not with monuments, but with machines. Yet the dream remains the same: to rise, to understand, to leave a mark that endures. The pyramids of Giza stand as mirrors of our own soul, reminding us that even the smallest human act can echo for thousands of years. Maybe that's what the builders knew all along, that the secret of eternity is not buried inside the pyramids, but within us. Long pause, wind plus faint ambient hum. And so, as the sun sets over the desert, and the last light touches the peak of Khufu's pyramid, the stones glow, as if remembering the hands that placed them. They will stand long after we are gone, watching, waiting, whispering, to whoever comes next. Because the pyramids were never just built to last forever. They were built to remind us that maybe we already do.